Hello, email agency owners, freelancers in email marketing, or even if you're an ads agency. To be honest, I'm going to show you the way I project manage within my own agency, just to streamline everything when it comes to approvals, communication, and just like working between departments. If you're an e-com brand owner, this is pretty relevant to you also. Yeah, check it out. So within my team, I manage everything within Notion, and I use something that I call the client fulfillment dashboard, which basically oversees the entire process of a campaign going from an idea to copywriting, to graphic design, to approval, to implementation, to being completed. So just to show you in action, just to prove I actually use this as a system. So you can see all of the campaigns are listed on here, and we've been using this for like forever basically. So you might be wondering, like, how do you actually use it? And also how do you replicate this exact one? I'm just gonna give you a demo on how to use this dashboard. And if you wanna use it as a template, I've gone ahead and shared this as like a URL pretty much. So you could just click the link in the description below, no email signups, nothing crazy. You could just use it as a template essentially. So here's how it works, right? You can see in the top right-hand side, whenever you want to add an email campaign, you just want to hit email campaign. It auto adds this. You want to select a client name. So, you know, if you're working for, I don't know, like just client example number one, like Plethora, right? As a client, boom, you type in that client name, you want to categorize it like that. Status, it's just in the ideation stage right now, so you want to keep it there. And then you want to assign it to whoever's kind of like on your team. In terms of publication date, this is essentially like your launch date. So for example, you can see right now on the launch calendar, there's nothing, right? But if I put the launch date as, I don't know, Friday the 6th of January, you'll see that it automatically appears here. This is just to give you an idea of what campaigns are kind of like coming up on the horizon, give you a master overview of kind of what's to come ahead. Now, as you progress it down, you can see that it kind of moves along this line, and you can see it went from the idea stage to the copywriting stage, right? And another thing I've gone ahead and done is just gave you like a general structure for how to communicate copy between your departments, between graphics and your kind of like strategist. So essentially, once you do this, assign it to the relevant person. The media links, you can kind of like go ahead and ignore that for now. And then design approval, this is more so for the client to kind of like check off. But we found that in practice, clients don't tend to follow this specifically. So instead, what they tend to do is just like give approval within Slack, because that's where we kind of ask them for approval. So you can choose to use this or not. We kind of just use this a bit internally sometimes, but overall, this is the only two dashboards that is remotely relevant. So once you progress it, so for example, when it's in the copywriting stage, right, most likely the copy is not yet written. And in order to progress it to the graphic design stage, it means that copywriting is done and graphics needs to be done right now. And obviously you need to, at each stage, assign it to the relevant person. And then once graphics is done, it goes into approval, goes back and forth. Once it gets approved, boom, implementation. And then once it's actually sent out, you can mark it as complete. So the idea is to just like progress every single email and every single line item down this production pipeline. And a really easy way to look at this is through the calendar. The reason why I like to have a calendar is just because it's a really easy way to prioritize, right? Because once you guys start having, let's say, I don't know, 5 different campaigns all within graphic design, some might be due on, let's say, like the 11th and 13th, whereas these 3 are most urgent. In which case, you would obviously go ahead and design these 3 first, and then leave these to probably like over the weekend or early next week, right? So that's why I like to have the launch calendar. And once you start having multiple clients, I'd say like 3 clients and above. So what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna look at the launch calendar. You just wanna hit duplicate, right? Rename it to whatever client it is. So in this case, it would be Plethora, right? And then you wanna add a filter right here. So filter by client name, you want to hit Plethora. So now what the magic of it is if you have, let's say you have another client, let's call it, I don't know, Boyan, right? And then you have the publication date of the 11th, assign it to whoever, and we'll put it in graphic design, right? Just imagine the copy is already written. Oh, actually, let's put it in copywriting. So what happens is now you have a plethora view, and then you can actually duplicate this and then filter by Boyan. So I'll put Boyan, and then filter by client name, Boyan. So we use this to give clients easy access to exclusively their campaigns. And also it allows us to really easily screen share when we're going over calendars and what's to kind of come for clients. And then you can see we split it up very easily. And then the real beauty of it is whenever you go onto the launch date calendar, right, you drag this date field, the publication date gets automatically updated. And also, let's say you accidentally configure the email to like a wrong client, for example, you could just switch it over real quick by just selecting Boyan and boom, deleting the other client. And then now it's going to be in the Boyan section, right? So everything is interchangeable, and whenever you drag it between, let's say, graphic design and approval, you'll see that it auto updates right here as well. I really like using Notion databases. It's a very easy to use interface, and if you copy this, I promise you it's going to make your kind of just like inter-department communications much easier. We've tested this and we have active over kind of like 10 clients all using this system. In the future, we might start creating like individual databases per client, but as of right now, this is a system that works. And I mean, same thing, right? Whenever you have flows, this is literally the same thing, but in a different font. You assign it to the right client, and you can see the type is automatically switched to flows. And the main thing is, right, like intended purpose, triggers, relevant filters, and then email one, which is the same kind of like, it's just the same template for the campaign, but just copied over 4 times, right? That's how you would manage the flow side of things as well. Obviously, flows require more graphics, in which case the media links, this is where you would drop it into either a Figma link, which would link to a Figma file, or a Google Drive link, which would have all of the rendered PNGs along with the PSD files. So yeah, like this is, in my opinion, so far what I've found to be the best way of project management. Hope you found this video useful, and if you want to learn how to actually, you know, do email marketing, not to plug my course, but I'm going to plug it because it's really fucking good. You can go right here and you'll be able to purchase my course, which shows you everything there is to know about email marketing, built for complete beginners all the way to borderline experts. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. If not, feel free to dislike it, and I'll see you in the next one.